good morning, everyone. So today we are almost halfway of the first quarter, and we are going to study another lesson. But before we study another lesson, I wanted to greet everyone a good morning, and let's proceed to my initial question before the discussion. All right. So let us recall. So this is from the lesson, the first lesson that we had. So from recalling, I want you to give me the three sources of information. What are the sources of information again? Those three. So the first one is primary sources, the resources which is a first-hand data. Second is secondary sources, which are the documents that talks about the primary sources. And the third one is tertiary sources. And tertiary sources, the clue for tertiary sources is called reference or collection of information, like almanacs, dictionary, all of um, all of those are called sources of information. Now, today we are going to study a specific sources of information because during the first lesson that we had in this quarter, we just studied the general terms for three sources of information. So today we are going to specify the three sources of information, and we're going to specify the sources and understand what is the difference of accessibility and effectiveness when it comes to information. So why are we talking about this stuff? So we are talking about this because these are your stepping stone upon understanding what research is all about. So if you are going to think, why are we always in your worksheets, if you're gonna notice, ma'am always lets you to do research or always lets you to browse newspapers, magazines, articles in Google. Sabihin nyo, ano ba yan ma'am, paulit-ulit na lang po. Kasi po, that's the basics of doing research. If you don't know how to search in Google, search for specific articles, then you cannot do the RRL or the related literature part of a research and also the introduction of your research because you don't know the basics. So now we are doing the basics by introducing them bit by bit and going in depth for every lesson. All right? So this lesson is going to be very quick because this is, you know, already the sources of information, you know, the characteristics, the six characteristics of information. We had that during the first lesson, right? Okay, let's proceed to our lesson. All right, so quarter one, week four, the title of this is Sources of Information, Accessibility, and Effectiveness. So those two are the characteristic, another characteristic of information, and we're going to tackle about that. But right now, we're going to dig deep in the sources of information. So let me read the first one. The advent of technology has brought wide opportunities in knowledge production and dissemination. Bits of information have become largely available anytime and anywhere. So um, if we're gonna compare the present times and the old times when it comes to researching or when it comes to um, finding sources about our assignments, about our projects in different disciplines. When I say disciplines, those are called subjects like math, science, English, and others. So it says here that the advent of technology, meaning the introduction of the technology in our era, has led us to open a lot of opportunities when it comes to citing sources. We are just a click away to find the sources of information. Unlike us, during my time when I was in high school, yes, we already have internet during that time, but it is not yet developed. So we still go to the libraries, of course, and we still do manual techniques when it comes to finding sources. Because during my time, we were not really allowed to cheat, and so you have to have your own answer, and your teacher is going to find whether your answer is being copied or if you copied from another person. So we have to search for that. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So right now, we have Google, we have Facebook. Ma'am, do we get sources of information from Facebook? Yes, because there's a lot of hacks, tips that you get from Facebook. So we have a lot of applications that we can use to find different information. So yes, so those are bits of information. And we can find it anytime and anywhere. All right. So we just have five specific information sources. So, ma'am, ano yung tatlong pinag-aralan natin? You call it three sources of information. Itong lima, ma'am, anong tawag? You call this specific. Ibig sabihin, specified. Ito yung pinaka parang subtopic niya, specific information sources. Kasi 'di ba pag primary sasabihin natin primary, those are speeches. Ito na talaga sila, specific. So number one, we have scholarly articles. Number two, we have books. Number three, we have government documents. Number four, we have magazine or news articles. And number five, reference materials. So these are the sources of information that you can use when you do your research. Remember this. All right. During your senior high school days, you're going to encounter research at ito po ang mga kailangan ninyong sources of information. Hindi lang kayo puro Google ng Google kasi Google can be like, for example, Wikipedia can be edited. So it's not really a good source of information. Nothing beats dun sa mga nakaprint na. So, ano-ano bang pinagkaiba-iba niyang scholarly articles, books, government documents, such as that? So, let's talk about it. Okay, number one, we have scholarly articles. Scholarly articles are documents written by experts or scholars discussing results of scholarly works like research. So I want you to look at the picture. It says here, example. So the example of scholarly articles is of course none other than research paper or research journal. Ay, ganun pala, ma'am. So, pwede po pala kaming kumuha ng sources of information pag nag-research kami sa research paper ng iba. Yes, that's not plagiarism. And it will be a plagiarism if you don't cite the source from where you got the article or the statement. Magiging plagiarism lang siya kapag hindi mo kinredit kung sinong nagsulat. Kasi it means na ninakaw mo yon because it's not your own words. You did not make it. So, you have to cite it. So, that's the number one. What is the first specific source of information? Scholarly articles, aka research paper or research journal. You see? Easy. Number two, we have books. So, of course, books are sources which provides information in detail segregated into chapters or parts. It is a synthesized, when we say synthesized, it means summarized version of information. So, ano bang books yon? So, we have English books and different kinds of books. Halimbawa, you call this textbook, itong dalawang to. And then, this one is called novels. So, books are in the form of textbook or novels. So, you can use them depending on what research are you doing. So, that's the number two. Number one is, okay, scholarly articles. Number two is, books. Okay, so let's proceed to the third one, government documents. Government documents are reports, censuses, policies, data, and statistics issued and published by the government and its attached agencies. Okay, napakadali lang naman. So pag sinabing government documents, those are the documents or reports published by the government. Paggawa ng gobyerno, kahit siya ay books, siya ay nasa under ng category ng, government documents. So what are the example of this? So number one, we have court proceedings. So these are ito yung mga tinatype sa kapag merong case na kailangan isulat. Of course, lagi namang recorded ang lahat ng ginagawang sa hearing. So it is called court proceedings. We have laws. It is authored by the government. Of course, it is authored by the people, but it was published by the government. Next is orders, reports, and statistics. So those are government documents. So we have scholarly articles, number 2, books, number 3, government documents. Number 4, we have news or magazine articles. So news or magazine articles are sources which contains timely, brief, and non-technical explanation of events or commentaries. Pag sinabi natin non-technical, hindi siya formal yung pagkakasulat. Of course, sa news, it will be formal. But in magazine, it will not be so formal. Kasi ang tawag doon ay feature article pag mga magazines. Medyo soft yung pagkakadating ng balita, not unlike a news written, which is direct to the point, technical explanation of events. And it contains opinions and news. So what are the examples of news or magazine articles? We have school paper, major newspaper, and magazine. Last one. So last one, we have reference materials. So reference materials are sources which provide answers to questions such as statistics, maps, background information, redirecting to additional information. So what are example of reference materials? Number 1, we have encyclopedia. Number 2, we have almanac, atlas, dictionary, and encyclopedia. Those are collection. So, ano nga ulit? Sources yung reference materials pag sinabing collection dun sa primary, secondary, and tertiary. Reference material is part of, okay, very good, tertiary sources. That's it. Now we're gonna understand the difference of accessibility and effectiveness. So, what's the difference between the two? When we say effectiveness, it refers to the degree of being able to achieve the desired result based from their objective or purpose. And when we say accessibility, it refers to the quality of being easy to find, obtain, and use. Pag sabing effectivity, this is referring to the degree, the quality when we say effective, it is achieving your desired result. So if you achieve your desired result based from your objective, you are effective. When you say accessibility, from the word access, it is the ability or refers to being easy to find, easy to use, and easy to obtain. So that's the difference. Did you get it? So under accessibility, we have 3 types. We have text accessibility, we have image accessibility, and we have audio accessibility, and video accessibility. So that's just it. Pag sinabing effective, kaya mong tapusin yung isang task right away based from your desired outcome. When you say accessibility refers to easy access. Like, madali kang magpunta ng Google, madali kang magpunta ng Facebook. It's just a click away. It means it is accessible. So, let's go to your learning task. So, when we say learning task, let's proceed to the first learning task. So, that learning task 2, what are you going to do here? You're just gonna open your module on page 18 and then provide. You have to read the statement and then match it to column B. Yeah, answers only. Page 18 ha, don't forget. Learning task 3. So here, you have also like that, you have to read the item and then identify the right answer, letter only. This is page 19. Okay, so for learning task 4, just provide 5 examples of documents under this. You did this during your lesson 1, and you can do it again. Okay, and the last one, you have to provide, we have discussed the scholarly articles, books, government documents, magazines, and reference materials. You have to find 5 examples for each. This is easy too. And for your performance task, I want you to look at page 22 and look at the infographic. And then what are you going to do there? Write a 3 to 5 paragraph essay about it. When we say paragraph, that's not just 3 sentences. When we say paragraph, it's at least composed of 5 sentences and above. 5 sentences is good na. So provide at least 3 paragraphs, maximum of 5. So you have to interpret what this is about. So it says here, identify major points presented in the infographic. Like, for example, you can start saying, this article is entitled Cybercrime Complaints in the Philippines from year 2013 to 2015. And then describe each. That's just it. And then determine the meaning of each identified complaint below. So ano daw ba yung mga cybercrime na na-commit simula 2013 to 2015? So in developing your essay, use various information sources such as scholarly articles, the ones that we've studied. So halimbawa, ay ma'am, paano magiging 3 paragraphs yan? Yung unti lang naman ng information. Ano pong gagawin nyo? So kayo po ay halimbawa, the first cybercrime, so search nyo po yun sa internet. You can use electronic scholarly articles. Ibig sabihin electronic, yun yung nakikita nyo sa Facebook. Para palawigin pa, bawat topic. So, how many topics do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yun yung isa-search mo sa Google. Gets po? Okay. And then, ayan. So, I want to end my discussion from this quote. So, it says here, success is the sum of small efforts repeated by our Collier. So, sometimes you may feel that we are being left out because sabihin ng iba, ay, buti pa siya nakagraduate na ng grade 10 or buti pa sila, tapos na sila ng high school. So they did not reach that in a click. So they also reached that point because they have exerted a lot of effort repeatedly, and that's what you call success. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's a long, long process, and you have to continue doing it again by doing repeated small amount of efforts. So that's just it. Thank you for listening to our discussion, and I'm gonna upload this in YouTube after my discussion. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you very much. And I hope you had a great day. Bye.